It goes through a process, and where the Writers Guild of America has like a panel of 4 people going over all of the scripts, and then they decide who gets the credit. And I lost. I didn't get credit. So anyway, even though it's so similar to my script.
Was that intimidating, or did you get mad? Or
no, I didn't get. It was frustrating a little bit, and it also means money. You get money. You get residuals. You have, and if you don't get that credit, you don't get those residuals.
So you have no royalties from that movie?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
I don't. Because, well, look, if we had only known, and I had the best agents in Hollywood at that point.
Okay.
I had the best agents in Hollywood who said, we've gotten you a fantastic deal. Take it. They'll never make the movie.
That's the thing. When we talked about Entourage, that's the thing I learned about Entourage, that like 90% of scripts in Hollywood, even more maybe, are never made. It's just
98%.
98%.
98% of all scripts are not made. You have a 2% chance of your script being made into a movie. That's actually the same percentage as, I think, as books that are bought to be turned into movies.
Yeah.
It's about the same thing. It's about 98% of books are bought, they're optioned, they're developed, they're never turned into movies. It is a very bad business. Now, you see successful people. You see someone like Doug Ellen, who made a successful TV show. There are 1,000 of Doug Ellens who did not make it in Hollywood. And then there are the people who, like me, when I decided to go out there, what I call the casino, because it's a gambler's life out there. It is you're gambling all the time. You think you're going to hit the big pot. You think you're going to get the ace king poker, whatever. You think you're going to win. You think you're going to win in the casino. And so I went out there for 14 years because I wanted to direct. I had always written screenplays, and I wanted to direct screenplays, and I wanted to create TV shows. I wanted to create a miniseries because I believed the miniseries was the new novel. And I'd written plenty of novels, and so I wanted to do that. And I had a big deal at HBO when I first went out there in 2007, 2008. And they were making a massive movie out of a book of short stories of mine called The Informers. I don't know if that's called The Informers here or whatever, but it's a book of my short stories set in LA in the early 80s. With a huge cast with like Mickey Rourke and Billy Bob Thornton and all these young up-and-coming stars. Amber Heard is the lead girl in it. Totally naked, by the way. That might be a reason why you want to watch The Informers. Totally naked while taking a huge hit off a bong while riding some guy. So that movie, which I produced and I wrote, and they had to buy the book from me. Much better deal than for American Psycho, but a flop of a movie. So there's the other irony. I got paid a fortune, and I had a fantastic deal on The Informers, and it flopped, and it shut down a studio. It cost so much money.
Wow. About
$25 million, which was a lot of money for an independent film. But anyway, so I went out there, and I had grown up in LA. Many of my friends' parents worked in the industry. We all knew you don't want to be a screenwriter in LA. You want to be a filmmaker. So it was being a screenwriter was never the option. It was always becoming a filmmaker. And many of my friends, when we graduated from high school, they went to film school and they got into the business. And I was writing novels and thought, okay, well, I want to get out of LA for a while. I'm going to go to college way back east to a place with a pretty good writing program because I am interested in writing this novel. And then when I do that, I'll come back and I'll make movies with you guys. We'll all form a production company or whatever, all my friends. So, so I knew what the dangers were. But in 06 or 07, TV was really blowing up and really getting good. And it seemed to me that people were reading fewer and fewer novels, and I really didn't have a novel in me. I didn't have one in me. I had a lot of ideas for TV shows, a lot of ideas for movies. I was selling them. I was selling these ideas, and I was being paid to write them. And you get kind of caught up in a system where you think, oh, the next one will happen because you pitch to a studio. This is my idea for a TV show. And they go, we love it. What's your price? We'll pay it. Write it, have it in by this time. You do it, then you get the notes. You go, okay, these notes are okay. You incorporate the notes. And then you begin to realize, oh, you're getting a second set of notes. And then you realize you're not talking to the first line producer. You're talking to the third executive producer. And then you're talking to the assistant. And you begin to realize, oh, they're not doing this. Okay, well, I have to finish these notes that completely contradict the original notes and the whole notion of the idea. Okay, so that dies. But your price goes up a little bit because you worked in the script. So you sell another thing to another company. And this is what I did for years and years and years. I must have written 30,000 pages of scripts that never got made. I wrote a couple of horror movies off that were nothing that did get made. One I haven't even watched called The Curse of Downers Grove, which was originally called Downers Grove, which had a lot of people interested in it. And then, of course, like most movies, just didn't move forward. I had people like Gus Van Sant and Gaspar Noé, Ryan Gosling wanted to star in a script of mine, and Naomi Watts and Joaquin Phoenix, and nothing happened.
All this gossip all the time, and
nothing happens. We made The Canyons. I made The Canyons, a low-budget movie with Paul Schrader, starring Lindsay Lohan, and the porn star James Dean. That got made, but my Oscar-winning scripts did not get made. And that's how it worked. And so at a certain point in 2019, I had a big deal at Legendary and I had a deal at Hulu. And the same thing was happening. I began to sense, you begin to smell it. You begin to see that, oh, I'm not talking to the first executive. I'm now talking to the third executive. I'm not talking to the head executive. I'm talking to a subordinate, and I'm getting these new notes, and these new notes are contradicting the old notes. And it was happening at both places with both projects. And I called my agent and I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. Nothing's getting made. Nothing is getting made. I think I'm going crazy, and I think I'm going to take a break. So you don't need to represent me anymore. I'm going to publish this book, White, a collection of essays. That'll keep me going for a while. I don't live an extravagant lifestyle. I have friends who have 3 kids in private schools and mortgages and alimony, and they do need to do this. They do need to work in Hollywood to make money, to pay for all this stuff. I don't have to worry about that. And so I said, I'm out of here. And so I published a book called White, which is an essays on Generation X. And actually, it's one long essay on Generation X divided into 8 parts. That also, I'm glad I quit Hollywood, because Hollywood was so upset with me over this book that I lost some gigs that I was going to leave anyway. And then what happened? Lockdown, 2020. So I guess I'm just trying to bring you up to pace on whatever I've been doing and why I haven't published a book in 13 years.
Yeah.
And why Hollywood was a disaster, as it is for everybody. I am sure Steven Spielberg right now is incredibly upset that he has made 2 gigantic financial failures in a row that must have lost the studio, I would say, upward of $300 million in terms of production and marketing costs. Both West Side Story and The Fabelmans have made no money at all, because people aren't going to the theaters to see movies like that. They're going to see the new Avatar movie, of course, $2 billion. They're going to see Top Gun Maverick. They're not going to see adult dramas. They're just not. They get that on TV from their streaming services, but they're not going to theaters to pay $15 to go sit in a theater and watch a drama like that anymore. Those movies will not be released theatrically next year. These Oscar movies, the movies that are all